And here we are. First of all, I want to welcome you to show 001, actually 3.001, and I'll explain that in a minute, of AndorraCast. My name is Seven Knowles, and most likely, if you're finding this through my social media, then you probably know that I've been doing this on and off throughout the years, pretty much since 2006, and I'm testing out a new software at the moment with a new service. The reason for doing that is that last night I went to go do an audio podcast on a platform called Periscope. And I've been using Periscope for years, video and audio. In recent times, I switched over to the audio strictly because there was no point in me being a talking head. And if there's not something to really look at, then what's the point? And so last night I went to go do an episode, and at the beginning splashed a little thing, an announcement saying that as of the 15th of December, Periscope no longer is taking new accounts, and that Twitter is phasing it out at the end of March 2021, which I was pretty mm, kind of affected by that because I didn't expect to see that happen. Periscope has been for me like a really fantastic platform. Even after I got kicked off once a couple years ago, but I really enjoyed the world over there, and but Twitter is apparently taking what they've learned from having Periscope and developing a new sort of live stream thing. Well, when I went over to Twitter to see like what they were offering at the same time, it wasn't anything that was usable for me. And I thought, okay, well, I can continue doing this until the end of March, which I might do on Periscope specifically because I did like the sandbox quality of Periscope. It wasn't really connected to my majorly used social media platform, so I had a bit more breathing room to experiment and get back into it after having a little while away from live streaming and podcasting especially. Um, I began. Wait, I have to look at my note here. Okay, I began with podcasting way back in 2006 with the first Andorra and it started out as an audio podcast and then quickly developed into a video podcast, and it was a great run, but life moved on. I wanted to develop in different ways, so I stopped in about 2008 and did a few video live streams, about once every 4 months or so, and then stopped for a while and then started up again in 2016 when I joined Periscope, and kind of just been at it sporadically, some months doing it more often, other months forgetting about it completely. And this year, I wanted to make an effort to actually put together a concept, a show. And I have a lot of ideas, and nothing really sort of cemented itself until I decided that I wanted to bring back Andorracast. Now, I've been talking about bringing back Andorracast for a long, long time, and I was going to do it in my bar Ludwig. Didn't materialize. I wanted to do it with another person, and that didn't materialize. And then eventually, I got into TikTok, and I was wondering, like, okay, how do I play with this format? It's really cute. It's this sort of 60-second limitation and vertical video, and I started to release episodes of the new Andoracast, and that would be the Andoracast 2 point something something. And coming into the podcast part, that's where the three comes about. Andoracast was never like one format or one idea or one topic. It was always very free form and stretched across different medium formats. And now I can do that and connect these things in a way that is not necessarily linearly coherent, but more that I get to practice and keep doing it again. And I want to use these different social media platforms as a basis to build up my new portfolio and um, use that portfolio to go back to school for visual communications. And one thing I like to think about is one way I like to approach visual communications is from an interdisciplinary direction. So even though podcasting doesn't seem like it should fit in with visual communications, it is learning how to convey a message within the framework of just audio and learning storytelling and learning how to talk about things and learning how to present things. And there's a lot to be gained from that when exploring something that's more about visual design. And so here we are, we're back, uh, and I'm really happy about that. I'm a little bit nervous because the software is, I kind of think it's kind of buggy, and I don't exactly have the right studio equipment. And there was this point where I thought, to hell with it. I'm not going to wait until everything is perfect. I'm just going to jump into the fire and swim around in it a little bit until I figure myself out. So I apologize if the sound quality is not at its best. I don't actually have headphones that I can use to test this. And like I said, I think the software is slightly buggy. So we'll we'll make do with what we have. Um, what is this show about? What is this Androcast about? Well, I'm going to talk about a lot of different things that affect my daily world. Not necessarily making it about me, because that was the one thing that I was doing a lot over on Periscope a few years back with the Enter the Panopticon project. And I feel like I've played that out. More now, I want to talk about what's going around in my world, but about issues and the kinds of people and the art that I work on, the projects. And so, I'm going to be talking a lot about, some design stuff, sex work activism, which is the subject of today's show, talking about music and clubbing and um, having interviews with my friends. I have a lot of wonderful friends who are performers and musicians and people who put together events, and we will see where it goes. I don't have a clear plan exactly. I just know that I wanted a little bit of everything, and what comes out is what it is. Today, the subject I chose was PornHub, and it's because in the last couple of days, I started to see on Facebook people commenting about, oh, how awful it is. Pornhub removed a lot of videos, and what are they going to do now? It's Corona. It's just kind of a general complaining thing, and I've had a very difficult relationship with Pornhub for a long, long time. So, because I find them to be ethically very questionable, specifically towards um, the rights of the people putting their material up on that platform, and they're a monopoly. pretty much. They own hundreds of these sex websites, and we'll get into a little bit of that history too. So I have my issues with Pornhub, and then I was seeing people who are very intelligent and other activists and for different causes lamenting about this this side of Pornhub being gone now, and I just thought I can't just sit here and say nothing. And I went to write a Facebook post to sort of approach it and made one, but then I read it and I realized it's really hard to communicate something how I really feel through this text without either sounding incredibly cynical or just downright bitter. Um, Maybe it's a way that I have to learn how to write better. That's entirely possible, but it's a very good subject for talking and to do the first podcast about. So I want to go back to I found the articles that I wanted to talk about, and I'm actually going to read them to you. Um, the whole thing started out with an article in the New York Times, and I think it came out at around the 5th of December or somewhere early in December. And it's an opinion piece, and it is a long opinion piece, so bear with me. But it's called The Children of Pornhub. Why does Canada allow this company to profit off videos of exploitation and assault? So this is where I'm going to begin, and there's a lot of layers, so don't take this as the only reason why I want to talk about this. But I think it's poignant to bring this article in. So this article contains descriptions of sexual assault, and if this is a subject that is difficult for you, you may wish to find something else to do. Um, Pornhub prides itself. First of all, I gotta say who it's by. Ha! It is written by someone named Nicholas Kristof. He is an opinion columnist. I'll give a little bit of a history of him at the bottom. Tell you what he says. So it's a very long article. Okay, so Nicholas Kristof has been a columnist for The Times since 2001. He's won 2 Pulitzer Prizes for his coverage of China and of the genocide in Darfur. You can, okay, I can say that too. Why not? I mean, you can sign up for his free twice weekly email newsletter and follow him on Instagram. His latest book is Tightrope: Americans Reaching for Hope. Look up Nicholas Kristof and you will be able to find all of this information about him. So I'm going to just jump right in and say I'm not really sure what his motivations are other than maybe following a good story or wanting to do some help for the people that he's speaking about in this article. I know that there are many different organizations and types of people who would love to see Pornhub go, and some very conservative Christian far right kinds of organizations. And certainly I'm not going to align myself with them, but I think that anybody that gets Pornhub to reflect and think about their practices, it's a good thing no matter where it's coming from. So but this guy, I don't think he really belongs to that. And if he does, I haven't discovered that yet. So into the article. Pornhub prides itself on being the cheery, winking face of Naughty, the website. Of Naughty, the website that buys a billboard in Times Square and provides snowplows to clear Boston streets. It donates to organizations fighting for racial equality and offers steamy content free to get people through COVID-19 shutdowns. That supposedly wholesome Pornhub attracts 3.5 billion visits a month, more than Netflix, Yahoo, or Amazon. Pornhub rakes in money from almost 3 billion ad impressions a day. One ranking lists Pornhub as the 10th most visited website in the world. Yet there's another side of this company. Its site is infested with rape videos. It monetizes child rapes, revenge pornography, spy cam videos of women showering, racist and misogynist content, and footage of women being asphyxiated in plastic bags. A search for girls under 18, no space, or 14YO leads in each case to more than 100,000 videos. Most aren't of children being assaulted, but too many are. After a 15-year-old girl went missing in Florida, her mother found her on Pornhub in 58 sex videos. Sexual assault on a 14-year-old California girl were posted on Pornhub and were reported to the authorities not by the company, but by a classmate who saw the videos. In each case, offenders were arrested for the assaults, but Pornhub escaped responsibility for sharing the videos and profiting from them. Pornhub is like YouTube in that it allows members of the public to post their own videos. A great majority of the 6.8 million new videos posted on the site each year probably involve consenting adults, but many depict child abuse and non-consensual violence. Because it's impossible to be sure whether a youth in a video is 14 or 18, neither Pornhub nor anyone else has a clear idea of how much content is illegal. Unlike YouTube, Pornhub allows these videos to be downloaded directly from its website. So even if a rape video is removed at the request of the authorities, it may already be too late. The video lives on and as it is shared with others or uploaded again and again. Pornhub became my trafficker, a woman named Kali told me. She says she was adopted in the United States from China and then trafficked by her adoptive family and forced to appear in pornographic videos beginning when she was 9. Some videos of her being abused ended up on Pornhub and regularly reappear there, she said. I'm just checking. Okay. I'm still getting sold, even though I'm 5 years out of that life. Kali said, now 23. She is studying at a university and hoping to become a lawyer. But those old videos hang over her. I may never be able to get away from this, she said. I may be 40 with 8 kids and people are still masturbating to my photos. You type young Asian and you can probably find me, she added. Actually, maybe not. Pornhub recently was offering 26,000 videos in response to that search. That doesn't count videos that show up under related searches that Pornhub suggests, including young tiny teen, extra small petite teen, tiny Asian teen, or just young girl. Nor does it necessarily count videos on a Pornhub channel called Exploited Teen Asia. The issue is not pornography but rape. Let's agree that promoting assaults on children or on anyone without consent is unconscionable. The problem with Bill Cosby or Harvey Weinstein or Jeffrey Epstein was not the sex but the lack of consent, and so it is with Pornhub. I came across many videos on Pornhub that were recordings of assaults of unconscious women and girls. The rapist would open the eyelids of the victim and touch their eyeballs to show that they were non-responsive. Pornhub profited this fall from a video of a naked woman being tortured by a gang of men in China. It is monetizing video compilations with titles like Screaming Teen, Degraded Teen, and Extreme Choking. Look at a choking video and it may suggest also searching for She Can't Breathe. It should be possible to be sex positive and Pornhub negative. Pornhub declined to make executives available on the record, but it provided a statement. Pornhub is unequivocally committed to combating child sexual abuse material and has instituted a comprehensive industry-leading trust and safety policy to identify and eradicate illegal material from our community, it said. Pornhub added that any assertion that the company allows child videos on their site is irresponsible and flagrantly untrue. Goes into another story, and it goes into a story about a revenge porn, um, about a teenage girl. So I'm going to just move on and see if there's anything else I can put in, because this is a very long article. I just suggest going to the New York Times, Google search NYT PornHub. It's the first thing that comes up on the search. So this article eventually sparked um, an investigation, and there were others who were calling for that MasterCard block the use of their credit card services on Pornhub. American Express doesn't allow for pornographic things or pornographic sites to use their services, and Visa, I don't know what the story was with them, but it sparked some questioning, and these got some investigations, and Pornhub um, decided to do something about it. So next article that I'm going to going to read to you comes from The Guardian, and this is from Monday, the 14th of December. And so it was just this past Monday, and I don't see who it's written by. I'm trying to see if I can find it. No. So I'm sorry, I don't have an author of this article, but I'll get into it now. So Pornhub has removed millions of videos, the majority of its content, after an investigation revealed a large number of them featured underage and sex-trafficked subjects. The popular adult content site has prohibited unverified users from posting new content after a New York Times report revealed a number of inappropriate and illegal videos, including some involving minors, causing the credit companies Visa and MasterCard to cut ties with the company and all related websites. Now, Pornhub is also removing content previously uploaded by unverified users. This means every piece of Pornhub content is from verified uploaders, a requirement that platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat, and Twitter have yet to institute. The company said in a blog posted announcing the changes. At Pornhub, the safety of our community is our top priority. The purge by Monday morning brought the total numbers of video on the site down from 13 million to just 4 million, a report from Motherboard found. Pornhub's removal of millions of videos may pose a significant threat to sex workers already struggling during the pandemic, who use the platform sales as a source of income. This news is crushing for the hundreds of thousands of models who rely on our platform for their livelihoods, Pornhub said of the initial moves from MasterCard. Since Pornhub's launch in 2007, any user could upload content to the site. Now only verified users can do so. To become verified, users are required to submit a photo of themselves holding a piece of paper with their username according to the Pornhub site. This makes them eligible to monetize their videos. While the company had acknowledged the severity of the accusations, it noted the campaign to crack down on Pornhub comes from groups that have long campaigned against sex content of all kinds. In its statement, Pornhub said it is being targeted not because of our policies and how we compare to our peers, but because we are an adult content platform. The groups spearheading the effort to police Pornhub include the anti-pornography groups, the National Center on Sexual Exploitation, formerly known as Morality and Media, and Exodus Cry Trafficking Hub. In the last 3 years, Facebook self-reported 84 million instances of child sexual abuse material. During that same period, the independent third-party Internet Watch Foundation reported 118 incidents on Pornhub. That is still 118 too many, which is why we are committed to taking every necessary action, the company said. So that's the end of that article, much shorter, and it gave the information that I kind of paraphrased to begin with. I'm getting a little drink here. So I get the argument that the groups that led this led for these charges to happen are conservative groups who hate sex workers and pornography, and they're just a bunch of people who have some really a lot of time on their hands to pick fights. And but the thing is coming from a sex work background, I actually have a verified account on Pornhub. Um, I've worked with a few different sites, a few different platforms, and Pornhub is, in my opinion, one of the worst to work with. They take out a substantial amount of the income that you can generate by working on their site. And there's they put all the responsibility of discovering piracy and on you. So I mean, they're taking a lot of money. They are supporting a system of porn where a lot of people go on for the very quick McDonald's like easy fast free porn. Um, and there's a certain sort of, how do you say it? When you have when the whole basis of your business model is to attract people with free content, you have to work harder as somebody who's offering paid content to make any money. Cam work is not ever going to really pay your rent. I mean, it could happen for one or two people, but the vast majority of your time is spent there entertaining people, trying to get people to tip you, to do small acts. It's really time consuming, um, kind of draining. If you do it right, then um, you might get somewhere with it, and you have to like practice and get to the front pages because there's about thousands of other people doing exactly the same thing, and some are doing it just for fun. So they will do it for less money, or they'll do it for no money, and it just becomes not really like a substantial way to make income. Um, I'm sure that there are people who would argue that, and that certainly could be the case depending on what kind of porn you make, who is your audience, obviously what kind of look do you have or something like that. But but for the majority of people that I know, I would say that they go into doing cam work and online content work and become pretty quickly discouraged, and not discouraged, but or disillusioned about the whole thing. Porn in general, because of places like Pornhub, is an industry that is just fallen into a sinkhole. The big porn producers losing money dramatically because of all the stolen porn and pirated porn that gets put up on sites like these. And you don't need to go very far to see you stolen and pirated work, and that's not getting anybody money. The people who act in these things, they're not getting anything out of that. And when sex work is sort of your livelihood, it just and you're watching the financial bar of expectation lower and lower and lower. um, it's not doing anybody any good. So I've always been a little critical of these free sites, but I guess I read about what I personally wrote about this, which is no longer available. Let's see. But it was my opinion is that people deserve to be paid for the work that they do. Pornhub is rampant with stolen porn. Production companies face bankruptcy, and workers have fewer options to make money. It impacts all sex workers, regardless of race, gender, orientation, or identity. Sex work is work, period. Complaining about the loss of free porn is a vulgar display of entitlement, especially at a time when many sex workers around the world can't work in other areas of the industry. Saving one person from exploitation is worth more than a ton of stolen, lousy quality amateur porn. More sites and aggregators need to actively check who is put into their content and under which conditions. Consent is paramount. It takes nothing more than proving one's identity to verify an account and is not limited to big companies and professionals. There is a niche for everyone and every taste, so trust yourself and do it fucking correctly. It's appalling that anyone would complain about Pornhub removing unverified content. It is a step in the right direction for us all on several levels. Despite the company being my ethical nemesis, I welcome their actions. Do better. And that's the message I want to give at the end of all of this, is that we can all do better. We can, start treating sex work like work. Pay for your porn, or find other ways. These sites like Pornhub profit from the people just coming to look at the free stuff, because then they get the ad impressions. It's so shit for a lot of sex workers. And and those who do actually verify their accounts and things, they don't have a lot of protections in place for them anyway, because that stuff gets stolen and put up on other websites, and it's a never-ending Sisyphus game. And the other thing too is that, like, even if it's coming from like a group that I would just say is very anti-sex work or whatever, it doesn't take away from the fact that there are people who are coerced into doing these videos. There are people who are underage that get put into these videos. And we need to stop giving platforms for people to do that with. I don't want to take away all the platforms. I think that we should be regulated and verified and treated like, okay, if you're going to do it, then we need to know who you are, because this anonymity of putting up porn onto a website just opens so many doors of exploitation or potential exploitation. Another thing that I just think too, and I worry, because there is, nah, I don't really want to go into that because I don't think I can really formulate that sentence correctly. But I think you got the gist of where I'm going with all of this. We shouldn't be complaining about Pornhub removing videos. We should be asking who else needs to do this. It's nothing to verify an account. It really is nothing. I've done it on several platforms. It's exactly like it was said in the article. You show your face with a piece of paper with your um, customer number. You upload a copy of your identification, and you're done. That's it. On the site that I used to work the most on, Cam4, who is not owned by Pornhub. Pornhub is a monopoly. Um, they had a system already long in place that you cannot monetize, um, or I believe, can you upload video with that with unverified? Possibly, but it wasn't really that kind of a site. It was more of a webcam site. So anybody who came into your videos, they had to be accounted for. And I don't see anything wrong with that. So yes, while this may have been kind of spearheaded by some rather unsavory conservative types, the effect is actually good for everybody. So I guess that's all I have to say about that subject tonight. And I don't know when I'm going to do this again because I'm going away, and I don't want to do it while I'm away. But I'll come back, maybe have some other topics and get some other people on the show, and we'll develop it, see how it comes. And I wish you all a wonderful good night. Bye bye.